Hello, this is a comparison between two Bechstein grand pianos that have been fully restored and are now on the showroom floor. This is the Bechstein Model 3, which is about 7 foot 10 inches long, made in about 1900. And this is a Model B or V, made in about 1902, and it's it's 2 meters long. That's about 6 foot 7 inches. Now both have got similar style cabinets. If we look at this Model B or V, it's rounded at the back. That's really, which should be called therefore a Model B, but this is the crossover point 1902. It doesn't actually have anything on the frame to say if it's a B or a V. And this is the Model 3. At the back you can see it's what we call fishtail, where it goes to a point. So there's 2 points, one, the usual one, and then it comes down. Instead of curving, you have a point at that end. Now the Model 3 has got the original ivory keys, which are in pretty much perfect condition. In fact, I say they were in perfect condition. Might say that one that's been come off and been restuck, but I don't really think so. They're absolutely identical, no replacements. Now, the Model 5 or B has got replacement key tops, so sometimes we can't manage to salvage the original ivories, so these have been replaced with it looks like ivory from a distance, but when you get up close you can't see any grain, and there's no dividing line here, which you get obviously on the ivories on the old ones. And Model 5 is finished off in Bechstein blue, and you might have noticed that the Model 3 has the Bechstein green, which is used on older pianos. I'm not quite sure the exact age at which they changed to just doing the Bechstein blue, but you get this green felt on a lot of the older ones. Perhaps if you're a technician you can help out there. Now the reason we can't date either piano very, very accurately is because they don't have the serial number that's normally on the top here. This is the case number, which is found on the bottom of the piano as well. See, there's the same number on the bottom of the piano, which you'll nearly always find, or I think always find. Now it's the same on the Model 3. There we are, there's the case number, which is also underneath the piano. Now we have got a record of ones that have got the proper serial number on the top and the case number underneath, to try and correlate the two. They don't always correlate, surprisingly. Maybe there's somebody who can point me towards a chart where they're better correlated, but we found a bit of discrepancy when we've been doing that. So therefore we say this is approximately 1900. Could be 1899 or 1901. Definitely pre-1902, I think. Now here's the Model 5 again, Model V5, and the bass is wonderful on this piano. I'm really impressed. They're very consistent pianos, so they usually restore very, very well. It's slightly out of tune, this one, a bit flat as well. But generally the tone, it's new strings, that's why it's gone out of tune. And in his voicing here, I voiced that one compared to this one. I don't know if you can hear the difference. Probably on the video you can't. The other piano is fully voiced. We'll listen to that. Here's the Model 3 with a extraordinarily rich bass, which you'd expect from a long piano. And it's very suitable for concert playing, really, or even for serious practice. And voiced, you can hear its voice. It's better in tune, this one. Both pianos have got new strings, and so therefore they need to settle in, maybe 3 months settling in. But this one is voiced as it should be. We'll just have a look at voicing to see how that's done. Before we do, I just want to show you the tuning pins, tuning blocks being changed. There's plenty of videos about this, so just briefly, and you can see the wedge dampers there and the flat dampers there. So it's been restored as well as can possibly be done. And there's the Model 5 or B, and you see there's no 5 or B here, which would help us, but it's a crossover point, as I say, about 1902, when Bechstein were firming up on what they then called the Model V. Sorry, I beg your pardon, the Model B. So most of the old ones have got a V on them. The young ones got a B on them, and there's crossover ones that sometimes don't have anything. The very old ones don't have anything on either. Now this is the Model B or V, and the hammers have been voiced actually. They've been softened here with needles, but just perhaps a little bit of fine voicing needing done on the top, because just to take the harsh edge. You don't go at all deep in the top. The idea is to voice here, to break up the fibres, first of all down here, before the hammers are put on ideally. These are arbel hammers and don't need quite so much work. as the Renner hammers do. On the arbel hammers you can see clearly the layers, and the idea is we're going to breaking up the felt slightly to make it bounce. That's the idea, because it's put on really tight. You can see a bit of squash in that. You wouldn't get that on a Renner hammer. There's less work on these. Top makes use both arbel and Renner, by the way. Börsendorfer, we went around the factory recently and noticed that they were using both makes, and talked to the technicians about that. It depends what piano they've got, and both makes make very good hammers. By the way, this slightly younger one has the adjustment screw for the spring, which is very helpful, and Model 3 doesn't. The spring should go up when I release the back check by taking my finger off the key a bit. Then the hammer should bounce up, and they should all bounce up steadily the same. Let's try these two. Yes, they're almost exactly the same. Now this is the Model 3. You see it doesn't have this screw to adjust here. It's got the old Steinway style spring. I mean, Steinway's used that style now, but Bechstein's didn't. It swapped over to using the one that you can adjust. Steinways also have adjustments on modern springs. If you restore them, you can buy from Renner with an adjustment on the spring. And I'm just showing you how the spring on those two, again, very consistent. Now these are also arbel hammers. You see it written on the hammer there, and on the side of these, made in Germany. And this one has also been voiced, but it's been finished off. The other one is a bit of finishing off. I was trying to find here evidence of voicing, which you can sometimes see there. See that little line there? Someone's dug the needle into there. So this is a comparison between two Bechstein Grands, one about 1900, the other 1902. And this is the Model 5, the much more common model. It's the most common model of Bechstein Grand. Well, I said Model 5, but it could be a Model B. It's got neither written on it, so it's the crossover point. Now it's a bit harsh sounding at the moment because it needs the fine voicing, but the touch is, as all Bechsteins have, to me just as good as any new piano. And I advise you to, or I'd recommend for you to try it when you're thinking of buying a really good piano. Then don't forget these older Bechsteins, which are just, the tone for me is just unsurpassed. We'll listen to the Model 5 in a minute, sorry, the Model 3, which is a longer piano, and compare it. Sorry, it's a bit out of tune. If you're a tuner, you can probably notice this. Ines, who's holding the camera for me, is probably grimacing at the moment, but it is slightly out of tune. They're new strings, that's why. But the tone throughout is very even indeed. Thank you very much for listening. This is the Bechstein Model 3, 7 foot 10 inches long. It's a long piano, and if you're considering a long piano for concerts or just for personal use, I would really recommend it. Touch and tone is unsurpassed in my mind. And when they're fully restored like this, they're as good as, if not better than, a new piano. Now this has been properly voiced, so it's a nice delicate tone. It's the kind of piano I just keep to want to carry on playing and playing. Made in about 1900, but we can't be sure because the number on serial number has been taken off and we only have the case number to go on. Thank you very much for listening.